What up, what up, what up?
Going on?
Same old same. I'm 6 mil, keeping it true.
Boy, KG.
Welcome to episode 19 of For the Fam podcast.
Say
Listen up, people.
19. I would say 19A.
19A. I'm with you. We're doing something a little different today, y'all, because of the weather event that we're experiencing, this inclement weather that's plaguing most of the United States at this time. We're recording remote or remotely, however you want to say that. So bear with us. This is our first time. So if there's a issue with the intro music, that may be why. But with all of that being said, we're just gonna get into it. We're gonna record and bring you guys another informative and exciting episode. All right. So what you want to get into today, my brother?
Incidentally, we want to talk about Ike. Not talking about the weather event outside.
Hey,
About the
I think
talking about outside Washington, D.C.
I think everybody is talking about ice at this point, and not the weather related ice, but yeah, the rogue agency that's just wreaking havoc on the United States. So we've compiled a list of questions that I think are like just general misnomers about ice that we want to answer for you guys and just sort of close the gap so everyone is aware of what ICE's core responsibilities are and some of the restrictions, if you will, related to ICE and their duties. So you
Yep.
want me to begin, brother, or you want me to start? You want me to answer questions first?
You can go ahead. You go ahead and get it started if you want.
All right, cool. All right. Question number one. What year was ICE formed and what was their original objective?
They were formed in '03 under the DHS umbrella after 9/11. Kind of like even though it was 2 years after, it was kind of like an answer to 9/11 to basically centralize everything into one organization. Border Patrol, you know, to help out with enforcement.
Okay, cool. So basically, ICE was formed as an answer to 9/11. It was a direct result from 9/11, basically.
Yes. Yeah, it was well I mean, obviously we had enforcement previously, but
Hmm.
for 9/11 they decided to channel everything in one. The one
Hmm.
DHS which is why we're getting the issue now where we've got ICE agents and Border Patrol agents roaming the streets of Minnesota.
So once again, they used quote unquote safety as a way to restrict some of our civil liberties and freedoms.
Correct. Because, as I think I mentioned previously, our children were born into a world where certain things, they couldn't go through security at the airport
Hmm.
with or without. Whereas with us, shoot, man, you could carry on bag with, lotion, soap,
Hmm.
perfume, cologne, a pocket knife. You do any of that now, you going to jail.
I mean, it's not funny considering what happened during 9/11, but that's kind of weird to say that now.
Yeah, it truly is.
It truly is, but you are also right in that there was not this heightened security when it came to airplanes before 9/11. So take it for what it's worth. Question two. Compared to other law enforcement agencies, how long does an ICE agent train and is it adequate?
At one point, it was adequate. As
Okay.
of now, in my opinion, it is not. Because as we discussed, previously, that, they've lowered it to the 47 days to honor the 47th president. It's weird and crazy saying it out loud. Oh, in the past, yes, they've had adequate training as far as, with firearms training, de-escalation training, civil rights training. Whereas now they're forcing people out on the streets after 47 days. And it's become very clear that the only thing they're working on is how to pull out their gun and to be assholes.
Let's do some quick math.
Mm-hmm.
How many days are in a week?
7.
7 multiplied by 6 is how much?
42.
So these guys are barely getting 6 weeks of training.
Because I'm sure some of those days are sitting in the classroom listening to somebody talk.
Yeah. How can you learn? And I mean, like, to be on the street, I would say you would have to be somewhat of an expert to know which laws you're supposed to enforce. How can you learn that within 6 weeks?
You
I
can't.
just no, exactly. I'm just kind of like taken aback by the license to kill. Right after a 6-week training course, you have a license to kill. I mean, I think one could argue that a security guard gets more training than 6 weeks, or
Yeah.
close to it.
Yeah.
I just think that that's really reckless
Well,
of DHS.
FBI agents are 18 to 20 weeks of training. FBI
Mhm.
agents. Now, you don't see FBI agents roaming the streets in bulletproof vests and so forth. So
Correct.
what you're telling me is that I could just come off the streets. Like right now, at my age, right now, I could apply for and within 47 days be out on the streets with a pistol, dressed up like I'm going to war, which is always laugh, these dudes dressed up, and just be out there.
Hmm.
I don't have to have any formal training on de-escalation.
Correct.
As I mentioned, civil rights, to deal with the communities that you're in, because they're treating everybody the same no matter what communities they go in, because all they
Correct.
hear is, oh, there's a lot of Democrats here. Oh, let's own the libs. Dude, get the hell out of here.
I agree. And I think that's part of the cause and effect as to why we're in such perilous times, why we're in such unconditional circumstances, for lack of a better term. All right.
Yeah.
Question 3. Does ICE have the authority to enforce traffic violations?
Technically, no. So in the
Hmm.
traditional sense that, you get pulled over for speed and so on and so forth. No, they do not.
Hmm.
However, what they've done is if there's an ICE event, like if there's a sting operation, what's going on in Minnesota, because pretty much the entire city of Minnesota is under siege. So
Hmm.
it's, why is the word escape? Oh, Jesus, a federal investigation. If it's a federal investigation, which, what they're considering is what's going, they have absolute authority to stop people. Now, obviously they can't issue speeding tickets and things of that nature, but since that whole city is basically under federal control for the most, they can do whatever they want.
Here's why I asked that question. With Renee Good, they said that she was blocking traffic. At that point,
Yeah.
should they not just have called the local police and have them issue her a ticket and say, ma'am, please move your vehicle, thus de-escalating the entire situation, and perhaps this woman would still be alive today?
Well, you know what's funny with that is that if you look at that video, with that when the cop released the video like an idiot thinking that it exonerated him,
Hmm.
and it basically showed her being kind to him less than 10 seconds before he shot her.
Correct.
Think about that. She wasn't being a jerk. She wasn't being sarcastic when she was talking to him. She was actually telling him sorry.
I'm
And
not
then 10
mad at
seconds
you.
later, right, I'm not mad at you. And 10 seconds later, he shot her.
It's crazy.
Good luck in
That's
a couple years when you're on trial for murder. Good luck.
correct. 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 Which we'll get back around to that later in this conversation. All right. Question 4. And this goes actually into what we were just talking about. When are ICE agents allowed to discharge their weapons according to DHS regulations?
So, and according to that, it has to be an imminent threat of death, serious bodily harm, deadly force is a report.
Mm-hmm.
That's also the playbook for local police, state police,
Mm-hmm.
the federal. We've seen in our
Mm-hmm.
lifetime where they can just pick and choose. Oh, my life's in danger, even though someone's 30 feet away and their life is in danger. We saw it in Chicago with McDonald. We saw it with, far away was that cop from him when he shot him? Well, he had a knife and he was charging at me. Like, dude, he was
Correct.
30 feet away from you.
Correct.
Your
And
life was not
like
in danger.
walking away, to be honest, but
Correct.
bonus question. Before this administration, was it customary for ICE agents to actually carry guns?
It's a good question. I never heard of them out pulling pistols on
Yeah,
people because I mean
exactly.
we've seen them literally pull pistols and point pistols at people as they're driving away from them.
Correct. Correct. These guys are out here suited and booted like they're going to war, automatic rifles. Before this administration, you barely even seen ICE in that capacity. It's really weird. All right, question 5. Could the United States enforce immigration laws without an ICE agency?
Yes. Basically what that would entail is them taking those organizations that are all grouped under one umbrella and spreading them back out. Basically
Mm-hmm.
pre 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
So it would just be pre 9/11. They would just have to distribute the funds to different places. Now I can't speak with factual information with this, but I don't believe that you would see Border Patrol this far in. I don't think you
Correct.
would see Border Patrol in, where we're from, like we did a couple months ago or ago. You wouldn't see it because normally Border Patrol only enforces within 100 miles of a border.
How many?
100 miles. 100 miles. Yeah. That's what I always, I always say, like when, cause I've seen people argue about it in Texas where saw someone get pulled over on social media a couple years ago and she was upset because she's like, we're not even near the border. And the cop was like, man, we have jurisdiction within 100 miles of any border in this country. And I remember
Mm.
her arguing with him about it. And I looked it up and sure enough, it was within 100 miles. They can set up checkpoints. They can check, papers and so on and so forth. Now, I'm not saying it's right, but I mean, I don't know if Chicago was within 100 miles of the Canadian border. In
I
fact, I
don't
know it's
think so.
not. It isn't.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think Minnesota is either. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think so.
I don't think Minneapolis is either. No. But
And
it's
with
just a
that,
free for all.
yeah, with that being said, really there's only like two directional borders to protect, right? North and south. I mean, because east and west, that's the ocean. Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean.
Military's protecting that.
Correct. Correct. All right, cool. All right, those are some of the questions that we have. We got a few more if you guys would bear with us. So go ahead, my brother. The floor is yours.
So how does ICE coordinate with local and state law enforcement and where do conflicts generally arise?
All right. ICE coordinates with local agencies primarily through something called detainers. Detainers are requests asking local jails to hold an individual for up to 48 hours, 2 days after their scheduled release so ICE can take custody. Now, where does the jurisdictional friction occur? Well, it usually occurs in sanctuary cities And that basically just means that those cities refuse to honor ICE detainers or they limit information sharing. And to make a long story short, they just aren't willing to work with ICE in that capacity. Also, though, there's also another conflict that happens or friction, if you will. And that's when ICE just kind of dumps detainees, I guess I should say, dumps them in local jails. And then you have an overcrowding and overpopulation issue, and local jails basically don't have the budget to support it. So there's also friction there with them getting reimbursed from the federal government as it relates to budget and housing, etc. And sometimes they just release these people because they can't hold them. So there's also that type of friction that occurs.
Okay. Number two, what oversight mechanisms exist to investigate misconduct or abuse of power within ICE?
First, let me say, and I think this is the most important oversight, the people. The people are the best source of oversight. So, and we'll get into this later, but we wouldn't have the video of Alex Preddy getting killed yesterday without the people. We wouldn't have the video of Renee Good getting shot and killed without the people. So the people are the best source of oversight at this moment in time. But traditionally, we have the Office of Professional Responsibility, ICE's internal unit that investigates employee misconduct and detention facility standards. We have the DHS Office of Inspector General, an independent body that audits ICE operations and investigates systemic fraud, waste, or abuse. We have the Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties, which investigates complaints regarding violations of constitutional rights or profiling. And then we have Congress, which can hold hearings, etc., etc.
Okay. There's some follow ups for these, but we'll get to them.
Sure.
So how does ICE determine enforcement priorities and how do they change?
Basically, the executive branch, they just follow orders. So whatever president is in office, what his position is as far as immigration, supposedly is supposed to be ICE's position as well. So if you have a president that doesn't treat it as a top priority, then ICE technically should not treat it as a top priority. How often does that change? Well, it changes with every new administration. It changes with every new president. Or, truth be told, it can change tomorrow if President Dumbo just decides to stop all of this. It'll stop. So it's totally dependent on the president at this point.
On his mood.
On his mood, essentially. Or Stephen Miller's mood, depending on who you want to believe.
So number 4, what role does ICE play in deportation proceedings versus detention operations?
ICE manages a network of federal, private, and local jail facilities to house non-citizens while they wait for their court dates or for their travel documents to be processed. ICE's enforcement and removal operations coordinates the actual physical exit from the U.S., which includes securing travel documents from the home country and arranging air or ground transport. You know what this doesn't say? Send them to CCOT. Send them to a country that they're not familiar with, that they're not from, and place them in detention centers or torture facilities, if you want to call it that. That is not a responsibility of ICE.
Number 5, What does ICE's budget compared to other DHS agencies? What does it reveal?
This one was shocking. And I think it'll be shocking for a lot of you guys listening as well. ICE gets a larger portion than the FBI, DEA, and Secret Service combined. And the budget suggests that this is a top priority for this administration. And because of the big, beautiful bill, their money is already or has already been guaranteed. Now, there is a vote, a Senate vote, because the House already passed a bill to fund ICE or DHS. And there's a vote coming up in the Senate, I guess, when we get through this weather system. So later on this week, the Senate will vote whether to reject the bill completely. And then it goes back to the House. And hopefully these 7 Democrats that voted to pass will have a come to Jesus moment and vote not to fund this bill. I mean, there's not a whole lot that can be done at this point because Republicans control all 3 branches of government. But a good start would be to withhold their funding and not reward them with more money to operate and kill people.
Correct. Yeah, when you mentioned that, we were looking up these answers and just kind of going over some things. When I saw that shit, you got to be. But then when
Yeah.
they realized that they're just traveling the country, renting cars and
Yep.
doing whatever the hell they want to do, of course they're going to
Yep.
spend a lot more.
Correct. Renting cars, renting hotels, and I mean, like they're probably being reimbursed for their play uniforms that they're ordering off of Amazon. Uh, I I I heard. I don't know how true this is, but I heard that they actually get like a bonus for every arrest that they make.
And if that's
Which
true,
which yeah, which again gives them the incentive to not get it right, but to just make as many arrests as possible. So definitely a quantity over quality type atmosphere. All right. So with that being said, guys, we're just going to roll right into our current events because I think we both just want to continue this conversation as it pertains to ICE. So go ahead, my brother, take it away.
I just want to just mention, especially, yesterday with the shooting and the continued propaganda nonsense that they're spewing, even going into this morning where, it's been on. I think he was on with, what's her name? Dana Bash.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Oh, yes,
talking
yes.
about,
Bovino.
yeah. And just, the fact that, thankfully she pushed back. She said, so basically you're just disputing the video because I guess I can't, like, do they think that like our TVs are just all black? Like our eyes don't work? Like, it amazes me the amount of bullshit that is being spewed because, I mean, let's be real. This is what generations of dictators have done, whether it be Germany, whether it be Italy, so on and so forth. They do something, then they tell you that you're wrong in what you're seeing. Now, this
Mm-hmm.
isn't new to the United States because, hell, we've been seeing that shit, from, Philando Castile in Minnesota when he was shot and so on and so. Well, no. He was reaching for his gun. No, he wasn't. But yet
Mm-hmm.
somehow that narrative stuck. Even after so many people came out to say that he was the kindest, sweetest, nicest man, all the kids at the school he worked at loved him. But somehow, even after his death, it still stuck. It was
Mm-hmm.
his fault he was dead. And
Mm-hmm.
it seems like they're pulling the same nonsense now. Like, this guy is an ICU nurse at the VA hospital.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me all of a sudden he decided to show up? No, he showed up with his gun because he has a legal right to carry it. He
You
had 2
know,
clips. He had 2 loaded magazines. Okay. I live in central Indiana. You know how many times I see people walking around with a gun with 2 or 3 clips on it? And often. very often.
It's not illegal to carry a gun in Minnesota. It's an open carry state.
And he had his
So
permit.
correct. So the fact that he had a gun is pretty much irrelevant. But and here's the thing, people, if you watch the video closely, you can see one of the agents actually remove the gun from his person
Yep.
before he is shot. One of those ICE agents took the gun. So at the moment that whoever pulled the trigger, that man was unarmed and pinned to the ground. At no
So don't
point
forget
was
pistol
he a
whipped.
threat. And pistol whip. You're right. 3 times I think that guy swung his pistol at him.
Hit him 3 times in the head with a pistol. And
Correct.
you tell me what law enforcement officer with proper training, I mean, ever pistol whip somebody? Because I guarantee you the gun was chambered, because I'm sure he was probably one of the people right after.
You know what also was interesting? They keep saying that he was the instigator. He was actually protecting the woman that they pepper sprayed and pushed to the ground. That's how the whole thing jumped off. It's just it's nuts, the lies that they tell and the lies that they expect us to believe. And it's like you were saying, we got video evidence. We have video proof. We can see. What type of Jedi mind trick do you think you're pulling on us by telling us that what we seen didn't really happen? Well, you're not that strong in the force. So knock it off.
That just always make me laugh, though. Whenever we see a video released and then you see the narrative from, whether it be the local police department or something, you're like, wait a minute. You say, what happened now? So that video I
Correct.
saw was doctored? Like, what?
Correct. Correct. It is extremely shocking and extremely insulting, in my opinion, to
Yeah, it's
try and
definitely
explain it away.
insulting.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, there's something else that to just further illustrate how out of control these guys are. Have you seen the videos or the stories from the police chief in Minneapolis saying that his officers are being harassed when they're out of uniform, when they're off duty?
Mm-hmm.
These guys are going up not to white, but to officers of color, asking them for identification and proof of citizenship. An officer of the law is being asked to provide proof of citizenship in the city that they patrol. This is unreal.
Hey, bro. So as you were talking, just came across another angle video that shows when he was shot. His left knee is on the ground. His left hand is on the ground. His leg and right hand not near the ground, and the gun is like 6 inches from. Yeah, he was executed.
Because like they were on top of him, right?
Well, in this particular still image from the video, they were separated. Oh yeah, dog. He was flat out executed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It uh, I don't want I don't want anyone to think or feel like that we're hopeless. We're in a hopeless situation here, or we're in a helpless situation, because there is hope. Just like with the civil rights movement, and there was much denial at first about the brutality that was taking place during the marches. It it wasn't until the images started showing up on people's televisions. It wasn't until the images started to appear in newspapers that people actually started to have some empathy and start to protest and go, enough is enough. I think we're in that moment right now. And I'm sorry to Keith Porter and his family, because There's so much emphasis on Renee Good. There's so much emphasis on Alex Preddy, and rightfully so. But the fact that an off duty ICE agent murdered Keith Porter is not getting the same amount of attention that these other two stories are getting. Is it because Keith Porter is black? I don't know. Is it because that ICE agent was off duty? I don't know. It doesn't change the fact, in my opinion, though, that an ICE agent murdered a citizen in cold blood.
Based on, of course, they'll flip this too. What they say? They say he was firing a rifle in the air on New Year's Eve, and this ICE agent heard the gunshots, and went to investigate, and then saw Keith Porter with the gun, and then shot him. And then
Basically,
they're trying to say that he disobeyed a lawful order, and it's just like, dude, you show up around my house really without a badge, holding a pistol. I'm not putting my gun down. I don't know you.
again, again, that is not ICE's job.
There isn't. Call the local law enforcement.
That part. That part right there. Call the local law enforcement and take your ass home. That is not your job to go out there and try and be Elliot Ness and investigate something you have nothing to do with. It honestly, the whole story reeks of Trayvon Martin.
Mm-hmm.
You had no business trying to police this man or whatever you call yourself doing. You had no business and no authority doing it. And now someone is dead because you took the law into your own hands. You decided to be a vigilante and go be Billy Badass. And now someone's dead. I truly hope that guy also gets rung up for murder.
Absolutely, because you ain't had no business taking your ass around.
Correct.
I got a gun in a badge, so I'm gonna go around. In what world do federal agents do that? Most federal agents would be like, man, I ain't about to do that. Man, you know how many people is probably out there shooting?
Correct. Correct. I agree. So before this administration, how often would ICE even like leave their office, leave their desk, so to speak? I mean, because it's not customary for ICE to be out patrolling every day, right? I mean, usually ICE doesn't show up to a facility or to your house unless they've already conducted an investigation and they know before they get there who they're looking for and what the situation is, correct?
Correct. Yeah, you don't have them patrolling the streets, which is, be honest with you. And again, I'm not law enforcement. I don't know the particulars, but if I'm a local law enforcement in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, where this is happening, yeah, you're gonna have a problem with me every day. This is my beat. These are my streets. These are the people that I
Mm-hmm.
patrol every day. Now you come
Mm-hmm.
out here turning the people on law enforcement. Now y'all got to go, man.
Mm.
Because you got some of those folks that's probably been on that beat for years. And federal agents come in, and now the distrust for law enforcement is through the roof. Whereas any goodwill that you've built with law enforcement, and like, you're a cop, you've built goodwill in that community. Now that ICE is there, all that goodwill has just been completely taken away. 'Cause those
Mm-hmm.
people don't trust you in any way, shape, or form.
Correct.
You're not getting no help from those people. Because also, what I think is not getting talked about enough, those folks in those communities are sitting back thinking to themselves, like, when is law enforcement going to stick up for us? When is somebody going to fight for us against this tyrannical government? Because let's be real, it is a tyrannical government. Might not be a
I agree.
tyrannical government in the ways that the history books have shown other governments, but tyrannical is tyrannical. It doesn't matter. Just because it's the United States, we're not exempt.
I agree. I agree with that assessment. And oh man, I, I kind of can understand some law enforcement, or at least to some degree, I should say, being sort of apprehensive about getting involved. I mean, because at this point, I don't think it'd take much to start a civil war with these idiots. I again, we've already established that they're out here to escalate. They're out here to instigate the violence, in my opinion. So I don't think it would be far fetched to think that if local PD did approach these idiots and tell them to cool out, that they might try and fire on local PD.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise. It just
No,
really would, man. It's like all of this is just so exhausting. It's
yes,
from Trump on down. It is exhausting. And you know what, man? I'm about to change subjects, but I'm still gonna stick with. Did you hear about this phone call? And I don't know the full story. Barron Trump when he was in Britain.
no,
I guess he called because over there they have 999 instead of 911. And I guess something was going on with a friend of his, and he was like extremely rude and condescending to the law enforcement and the EMS and everything, and it's made like an international incident that's just not getting the time of day. But apparently he was over
really.
there being rude and basically telling them like, "Do you know who I am?" type shit. It's like, yep. They're like, "Sir, don't fall too far from the tree."
Well, yeah. If that's what you're taught from birth, why would anyone expect them to behave any differently? You're 100% right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some more research on it, but yeah, I saw that somebody made a big deal out of it. They were talking about it late last night and early this morning.
Yeah. All right. Cool. You feel like we've covered that, or you feel like you have a little bit more to say?
Nah, I think we pretty much covered, what we wanted to. But I mean, as well as I do, hell, we could talk about this for hours.
Oh, sure. And look, at this current pace, there'll be another big story to cover tomorrow. So whatever, whatever. All right, y'all. With that being said, we're going to move into our next segment, our work, our rant about a random topic. You got to work, my brother.
I do. So my rant is about the city of Chicago.
Hmm.
Now, although my brother and I, my father lives in Illinois, and I spent the majority of my childhood out there. I'm not a Chicago kid. Him and I both are from Hammond, Indiana.
Hmm.
However, there are some things that go on that affect people we know, and so on and so forth. So I want to talk about what a lot of people consider 75 years is blatant robbery. So back in 2008, Mayor Daley, the city council, sold off all the parking meters in the city of Chicago to the tune of $1.15 billion. So the city itself spent all of that money just to plug some of their budget holes that exist before they sold it. And here's where things get insulting. The private company that bought the rights made all of that money back years ago. So I think they said within like a year and a half, they made that $1.15 million back. So since then, hundreds of millions of profit has gone straight into the pockets of the private investors. And as of right now, they've already banked $2 billion and still have over 50 years left to go on this lease. But it's not the
50.
money. 50. Yeah. They still have over 50 years left on this lease. But it's not about just the money. It's about this particular deal is handcuffing the city of Chicago. So, for example, if you want to put a bike lane in on a street that has parking meters, you have to pay the company for perceived lost revenue. If you want to hold a street festival, like during the summertime, shut the block down, get neighbors out in the streets on a block that has parking meters, the city has to cut a check to that corporation for the amount of time that the street was closed to basically pay for what they perceived would have been lost money. And this year, there were rumors that the city was going to try to buy those rights back. And of course, the mayor addressed those last week. But I guess the dollar amount was just too great. So the private equity firms was Morgan Stanley and the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. You've already heard me mention it was 75 years. And when they went to buy it back, I think they wanted like double paid for it originally. They are anticipating that at the end of this loan, at the end of this deal, that the Morgan Stanley and Abu Dhabi group will make anywhere between 15 to 20 billion dollars of the city of Chicago. So I'm sure there are a lot of young residents that don't know about this or realize that none of the money, none of the money from parking in the city of Chicago parking meters are going toward the city at all. Now, I was unable to find any type of news article or anything of that nature that shows what Morgan Stanley and the Abu Dhabi group is spending that money on. But I mean, we're not stupid. We know where that money's going. It's going right into buying more real estate and other nonsense. But yeah, so my word is basically, the city of Chicago and Mayor Daley played themselves, but of course Mayor Daley has a history of screwing the people of Chicago over. And nothing anybody can do about it, unfortunately.
A few questions.
Mm-hmm.
You said the original deal was 1.5 billion with a B,
1.15 billion. Yep, with a B.
and you said that they're set to make 15 to 20 billion by the end of this deal.
Yes.
Jeez, that's some return on investment. My goodness.
Yep. They said that, they already made their money back, years ago, from 2008 to 2026. And now there's still, roughly 25 years left. Well, 50 years left on the deal. And I guess, can you imagine that, man? Can you imagine the city of Indianapolis like selling it to, the parking meters to the,
A foreign entity, first of all.
I'll just say the Riyadh group, the
Yeah,
Saudi investment fund.
yeah.
Man, do you know how fast every politician in this city would be voted out of here? Now, of course,
So
Mayor Daley was about to leave office anyway, so he didn't care.
yeah, they've always he's always had like an aura of corruptness that followed him anyway. But Mayor Brandon doesn't have the authority to break this lease or break this deal.
Oh, they can break it, but they got to pay for it.
Oh, okay. It'd be like a breach of contract.
Correct. Whereas me
Oh,
personally,
wow.
I'd be the type of person to be like, yeah, now what you gonna do?
Yeah,
I'm taking
yeah, I
my
feel
parking
you.
meters back. So what you gonna do?
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yep. It's just highway robbery. And
It really
the
is.
fact that they pushed this deal through back in '08 in 2 days, there was no votes. There was nothing. It was just the city council and the mayor got together and was like, all right, y'all want to do it? Yeah, cool, let's do it. And they did it. They pushed it through. There was no mention of it to the public. Public found out when we all found out. When it came out
Hmm.
in the newspaper.
It
Nobody knew.
seems like it would be kind of easy to trace a kickback. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, what the city, especially at that time, was struggling budget wise.
Mm.
So 1.15 billion, they just
Help them out.
immediately, yep, and they spent that money so quick. It blows my mind why you wouldn't just, if you needed the money, why not just lease?
Hmm.
Why not get with these firms, lease portions of it?
Yeah,
You still make money, they make money. Make it 20 years.
correct.
75. Who the hell came up with 75 years?
Yeah, yeah, that is absolutely ridiculous. Mm. Yeah. All right, you finished with that, bro?
Yep.
All right, cool. I'm gonna go into my work, and I'm going to write about injuries, and to be more specific, sports related injuries,
Mhm.
and to be even more specific, injuries to two of my favorite athletes. The first being Bo Jackson. If you're a youngin and you don't know who Bo Jackson is, look him up. The guy was basically Black Panther in real life. And I'm not joking. The scene where Black Panther runs up the wall in the movie, Bo Jackson did that on a baseball field. I'm not joking. Look it up. The guy was a superhero. But the other athlete that I want to talk about is Derrick Rose. He is my second favorite Bulls player, right after MJ. And he had his number retired by the Chicago Bulls last night. And I am just really happy for that young man.
Great ceremony, by
Injuries,
the way. I had to
y-
watch it. Great ceremony.
yeah, yeah, because it made it worth it because in my opinion the game was terrible.
Yeah.
But that's a different story. This kid, because he was a kid when he got injured, was basically on pace to rewrite. Oh, that might be a little bit of a stretch. He definitely changed the point guard position in the NBA, in my opinion. During his era, the majority of the point guards that were playing were trying to imitate his style. They were trying to be him. Kyrie Irving, John Wall, Kemba Walker, all of those super athletics. You can even throw Russ in there, in my opinion. All of those athletic scoring guards, in my opinion, were trying to emulate Derrick Rose. I can't throw Steph Curry in there because Steph is Steph, and Steph's game is predicated on ball handling and shooting, and he's one of a kind. He also changed the point guard position. Actually, Steph changed the NBA, but Derrick Rose changed the point guard position. And had this kid not got injured, one, the Bulls probably would have another 2 or 3 championships, but he probably would also have 2 or 3 MVPs under his belt. This kid was unreal and he was only getting better. In my opinion, I don't think he ever reached his top potential because of the injuries. So I'm just saying, salute to Derrick Rose. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. Well deserved. And congratulations to the Chicago Bulls for recognizing how special this kid was and retiring his jersey. So now that's what, 4, 5 Bulls jerseys that have been retired at this point.
Mike, Scotty, Sloan,
Butterbean,
D
Bob Love.
Rose, and Bob Love.
Yep. So 5. So congratulations to D Rose on your jersey retirement.
Mm.
That's my word. Anything you want to add to that, bro?
Nah, man. Only thing that made last night perfect, even though the game wasn't that great, was winning on a buzzer beater. That was
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
I, I just have to say it, man. I I don't know what direction the Bulls are going in.
As well, as soon as they resigned coach, I immediately thought to myself, oh, we're just we're stuck in mediocrity. Now obviously, you understand my frustration on the basketball field, on the basketball court. I'm a White Sox fan. I've been dealing with Jerry Reinsdorf and his idiotic penny pinching ways pretty much my entire damn life. And you see what happened.
Definitely
What
a
happened in
chick.
2000? Yeah, yeah. What happened when the Cubs decided, hey, enough is enough? They won a title.
Correct.
But Jerry Reinsdorf, I mean, maybe he's turning the corner. We signed a Japanese player, so I think he'll be great. But it's just a constant penny pinching.
Mm-hmm.
Will never bring those free agents. They
Correct.
should. I mean, who the hell wants to come play for Billy Donovan?
Correct.
No,
I feel like Billy Donovan is part of the problem, but yes, you're also right that the Chicago Bulls are known for being notoriously cheap. And that's also one of the reasons why free agents don't come here.
correct.
Nope. I agree with you 110% on that. All right, y'all. We're going to move right into our 5 on the Black Hand Side movie review. And this week, We chose They Cloned Tyrone. You wanna get into the plot, bro, or you want me to get into the plot?
I can get into it.
All right, go ahead.
So the story follows John Boyega, whose name is Fontaine in the movie. He's a
Mm-hmm.
drug dealer in a rundown neighborhood called the Glen.
Mm-hmm.
His life is pretty much repetitive, just hustle and grief.
Mm-hmm.
He is gunned down by. So the next morning, Fontaine wakes up with no memory of dying. He returns to collect a debt from Slick Charles, who's played by Jamie Foxx.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Foxx's character is a pimp. And of course, his sex worker, his name is Yo-Yo, played by
Uh-huh.
Tiana Paris.
Correct.
They saw him die. So of course they're
Uh-huh.
terrified and they watched him die the night before.
Yep.
So so the trio start investigating the mystery as to how the heck he's still alive. So it basically leads them to a hidden elevator under a local trap house. They
Mm-hmm.
discover an underground lab where scientists are conducting experiments on black residents. And
Uh-huh.
as they peel back the layers, they realize Fontaine is one of many clones. The entire community is being manipulated through consumer
Uh-huh.
products to maintain harmony and passivity.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much the plot of the movie.
All right. So a couple of scenes that I really, really, really enjoyed from this movie. I enjoyed when they discovered the underground lair and they ran into the scientists down there listening to Michael Jackson. What was so satisfying? Well, one, because they were playing Michael Jackson, Don't Stop Until You Get Enough. But the scientist is a white guy with an afro and a goatee. He's out there dancing. Absolutely hilarious. And it's hilarious because they pointed out, they're like, what's up with this white guy in his afro? But Jamie Foxx discovers this white powdery substance that he assumes is cocaine. So he steals some with the intent distributing and using at a later date. But something peculiar happens. There's a weird side effect associated with this white powder, with this white substance. It gives you the giggles, basically.
Mhm.
So our three protagonists, our three heroes, go have some lunch and they go to the local chicken shack. And Jamie Foxx tells a joke about how he's never seen Fontaine smile in all the years that he's known him. And at this point, Fontaine starts laughing hysterically. And at first, Jamie Foxx doesn't think that this is weird until he looks up and he realizes everyone in the restaurant is laughing hysterically. Why, you might ask? Because that same substance that he thought was cocaine is actually one of the ingredients for the chicken. So think black dynamite and the beer gives you, ooh, that's sort of what it gave, it reminded me of, right? That the the man, quote unquote, the man that's been antagonizing black people all these years, they're using everyday products to control us, to manipulate us, to basically keep us subservient, if you will. So that's one of the mysteries that they uncover, is that it's in the chicken. Then the other discovery is that it's in the grape juice. And then the other discovery is that they're using hair products to control us. And I thought the most telling was the fact that they were using the black church to control us. This
Yep.
is
The hidden messages in the songs.
correct. Correct. This is it's comedy and it's satire, but I think it really touches on some low key important themes that many of us as black people have been saying for years, right? For years, people have been saying that the music, how it's so much about denigrating women, black women especially, right? You guys know what type of music I'm talking about. You know, the way that people were saying that the music only focuses on sex, or the music only focuses on violence, black on black violence. So is all of these type of themes that They Cloned Tyrone are kind of touching on, but they're doing it in a very overt and comedic kind of way. Anything you want to add to that, brother?
No, no, I think you got it spot on. It's just funny how universal stereotypes are for black folks across the chicken, the grape drink.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause, I mean, Lord knows. Coming up, when you used to call the pizza down on State Line, they used to get a small sausage, grape knee high. So, so Lord knows the stereotypes is crazy that they use grape drink. And
This ain't the first
that's a,
movie.
no, not at all.
Think
Used
about what's them silly White Castle movies. Harold and Kumar.
those movies.
Those movies are hilarious. But if I'm not mistaken, in one of the scenes, don't they try and tempt the black people with like some grape Kool-Aid or something?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
Now, it's been some years since I've seen it, but yeah, that does sound really familiar.
That's crazy, bro. That- that's absolutely crazy. But here's something that I and you and I have had this conversation, but I'm just going to pull back the blinds and let everyone in on a very private and intimate conversation that you and I have had about They Cloned Tyrone.
Hmm.
What's up with these cats who think that cloning is real?
You know what's sad? We like literally, like, personally know people we grew up with who believe this nonsense. Like, who the hell says, you know what? Let's clone Jamie. Now I get it. Jamie Foxx is probably one of the most multi-talented people in every aspect to ever walk this earth. But we couldn't clone like civil rights leaders.
Correct.
We couldn't clone, presidents or
Correct.
just good people. We gonna choose Gucci Mane.
Gucci Mane.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. The, we gotta clone Gucci.
Gucci Mane.
Now, now, if if I'm Gucci, I'm thinking to myself, damn, these dudes didn't think I could clean myself up.
Correct.
Gucci went
Correct.
in prison, worked out himself together
Got a new perspective on life.
on life, came back out. Ass is like, nah, they got it. Cause ain't no way somebody can turn. What was he gone? Like 4 years, 5 years?
Something like that. Yep.
Man,
Yeah. It like you said, it basically means that we can't experience growth. We're
correct.
supposed to stay the same. That's incredibly troubling to me. That's incredibly narrow minded to me, because you're supposed to grow during your lifespan. You're not supposed to be the same cat at 19 that you are at 35. That means you're stuck in the mud. You're stuck in neutral. You're supposed to gain perspective and I don't know, bro. I find that so weird, bro. And I find it weird that some of these cats actually get serious and like get upset when you tell them that they're crazy,
And be ready to fight.
ready to fight. You like, and I mean, they even alluded to it in the movie. If cloning was real, it would be incredibly expensive. So to go back to your point, why would they waste it on just,
Oh, Gucci man.
correct? Wouldn't you want to clone Neil deGrasse Tyson or Obama, or you know what I'm saying? Somebody that's actually going to make a difference in the world? Hey,
Oh,
I'll even go as far to say this. Don't you think they would have cloned Trump dumbass by now if the shit was real? I mean, because we can all see that he's on his last leg.
absolutely.
Just a thought. Just a
And
thought.
the thing
So
is, too, is he would be first and foremost at the front talking about, oh, no, yeah, y'all need to go ahead and clone me.
for real though,
He
for real,
himself would be right there talking about it.
he's such a narcissist. He'd probably be like, kill all my kids and just clone me.
You've heard, you've heard me say before that he's the type of person who absolutely would push his kids in front of a moving train to save him. He absolutely would.
Yes, yes. And I agree with you. Absolutely. So anyway, getting back to the movie, like my brother was saying, we come to find out that there are many versions of Fontaine, and his whole existence has been basically a lie, a
Hmm.
fabrication. And we don't actually get to see Tyrone until we get to the end of the movie. And that's when we see another version of John Boyega, who's sitting there with his homies, and one of Fontaine's clones actually walks by the news camera,
Yeah.
and his homies go, "Hey Tyrone, ain't that you?" And that's how the movie basically ends. So Tyrone doesn't even get mentioned. So you'd be confused, and I guess that's a spoiler, but you'll be confused watching the movie going, who the hell is Tyrone? Where is Tyrone? Well, you don't get to meet Tyrone until you get to the very end of the movie.
Something else too. That's kind of. He also finds out that basically his mother's voice is nothing more than.
Oh, that was wild, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Completely
were they
forgot about
were
that.
yeah, they were controlling him through a speaker box.
Huh?
That's crazy, bro. So crazy. So anyway, that's our review. They cloned Tyrone. How you want to rate this, my brother?
So just based on the message itself, I give it five. Just based on the message itself.
I'm right there with you. I'm gonna give this 5 black hands on the black hand side. I like this movie. Came out in 2023. For those who are wondering, it was directed by Joel Taylor. Yeah, go check it out, guys. It's a good movie. It has a lot of laugh out loud moments, but the subliminal messages, the hidden messages, really are worth it. And if you keep an open mind, I think most of us can relate to what those messages are. So yeah, 5 on the black hand side for me as well. When it comes to rating, they clone Tyrone. All right, y'all. We have reached the conclusion of this episode. Thanks for tuning in to episode 19 for the Fam Podcast. Again, give us a like, give us a share, holler at us in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? And we'll keep this thing rolling. I hope you guys have enjoyed this as much as we did. I'm 6 Mil, keeping it true,
The boy KG.
and we'll holler at y'all next time. Peace.